Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Brenner. I'm here with my colleague, Paul Wagenseil. We are at, is this day 2 or 3 of BlackHat?
It depends how you're counting.
Yeah. I mean, I got here Sunday. You got here Monday. And today is really the day where things get going. So we have the exhibit hall opening today, and so there'll be a lot of traffic there. A lot of great talks today, and B-Sides is still going on.
Yep.
And so that's the scene as we sit here live at the Four Seasons in Las Vegas for our continuing coverage of BlackHat USA, also known as Security Summer Camp. And so, Paul, you spent yesterday at B-Sides.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
It's nice. I like B-Sides. It's cozy. It gets crowded, but there's a good vibe. Mm-hmm. It's very community oriented. There are a lot of great talks. Sometimes some of them are harder to get into than others, but I watched some interesting stuff. Some people who talked about how the ground for defending cloud assets and instances is just so much harder than defending on-premises stuff, basically because you lose the home field advantage. You're playing on someone else's field. You don't know what the layout is. Mm-hmm. You don't know where the tunnels go. It's an interesting concept. Watched another one where a woman talked about how she tried to fool the facial recognition cameras in an Australian casino. Got partially there, but didn't quite do it. Turns out, she said, casinos use facial recognition technology all the time. Mostly to spot people who are like, problem gamblers, card counters, just kind of like, and possibly money launderers. It's an interesting concept, and I guess they've been doing it for years. What else did I see? It was all pretty good. I recommend B-Sides. I think it's something that people should add to their list of things to do in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said yesterday. It's, to me, the biggest strength of B-Sides is its focus on career development.
Yeah.
And, that's just so important.
Yeah.
And as security professionals go from one role to another, one stressful role to another, it's not always easy to get that training and that direction. And B-Sides, to me, has always been a place where you can find that.
Yeah, and that's, they like BlackHat has a lot of training stuff, and B-Sides does have one training track, but they also have another track which is just about career development, like psychologically, networking-wise, just sort of even ways to spruce up your resume. It's kind of the little things, the human element stuff that other training sessions don't provide, which is really interesting. Of course, I'm just an observer, so I just kind of hover around the scene and try to glean what's going on. But I really like B-Sides. Plus, I also like the Tuscany where the B-Sides is, because it's chill.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah, it's a totally different atmosphere from Mandalay Bay. And that's, not
a knock on Mandalay Bay.
Not a knock on Mandalay Bay. It's just, different atmosphere, and it's good to have the high traffic, high energy place to go, but an
oasis of calm.
Yes. And I do believe they're mandating masks, correct?
B-Sides? Yeah, B-Sides is. Yeah, they are.
So if you're going to B-Sides for their day 2, bring a mask. Mm-hmm. COVID is everywhere, as we've all seen in the news, and watching everybody we know.
As I found out last year.
Yep. It's really become a summer thing, and so it's important to just be mindful of that when walking around here this week. Especially you go on the expo floor.
Yeah.
And it can just be so packed with people.
I might strap a mask on for the BlackHat events. We'll see.
Yeah. So one of the highlights of my day yesterday was there's an organization called CyberSN that has a suite on the 60th floor in Mandalay. And they gave a presentation, and they were joined by Cyberminds, who they're developing a partnership with. And I mentioned Cyberminds briefly yesterday.
Right.
Their focus is on tackling mental resilience. Really treating mental health as a risk management thing, and focusing on the vulnerabilities that are human and not machine. But from the standpoint of what do we need to do to help people develop the mental resilience they need for the stress of being a cyber defender. And it was just a great presentation, and I'm just so thrilled that this discussion has been taking place.
Yeah.
So that was great. Met a lot of people for the first time who were with a variety of security companies. And so it's been great for building relationships. And so just really a lot of great energy here this year. So looking forward to what today brings. And today for me will be going from one suite to the next, because I have appointments up and down the tower.
Yeah.
What is your day looking like? Today is more of BlackHat focused for you. Yes?
Yeah, I'm not going back to B-sides. I can't. I've got to focus on BlackHat. And let's see. The first thing I'm going to is an interesting concept, which should have been obvious in retrospect. You know how you can do like downgrade attacks against cell phones by like dropping from 5G to 4G to 3G, and then the security gets weaker the kind of further back you go. These people have figured out a way to do the same thing with Windows by basically forcing updates, which are really kind of backward updates to less secure versions of Windows with more known vulnerabilities. So I'm going to look into that. That could be interesting. There's several talks about AI. There's one about kind of like perverting Microsoft Copilot to your twisted knees. There's another one by Chris Wagenseil of Veracode. That's the one he runs, right?
Chris Wagenseil. Veracode.
Veracode.
Wells Pond. The legend.
All right. No, I know him. I just don't know how to pronounce his name. Or his company, apparently. But he's giving one about basically defeating Skynet or something like that. It's about AI.
Yeah.
It's about AI. There's a lot of AI-related stuff, of course. The real fun thing about not all AI, not language recognition or anything, but the image recognition. But the language models is so much fun, because if you look at the attacks on the large language models, it's all social engineering. You're basically social engineering a machine. It's fantastic. I love the idea.
Yeah. And Chris you're always, at least I feel this way about myself, when I have a conversation with him, I always walk away feeling, just a little bit smarter than I was before. And I mean, he was there at the beginning.
Yeah.
1995 when the Loft was addressing Congress. And so I'm happy to see that he's focusing on AI in that fashion, because that's always.
Also, he's a nice, funny guy.
He is.
Which is great. You want to see those guys win.
Yeah, for sure. What else is going on today?
I'm going to check my notes.
Check your notes.
I've got a lot. I'm just too spaced out. There's another one. Exploiting cloud provider vulnerabilities for initial access.
Yep.
These people basically found some, vulns in Amazon Web Services. Everything's been patched, but they're sort of like telling you how to get access to cloud environments, which dovetails with what I saw yesterday with how it's hard to defend the cloud and it's easy to attack the cloud because attackers can use the same tools that regular admins have, and all you need is admin credentials.
Yeah.
And then when you're moving around in someone else's cloud, anomaly detectors, behavioral detectors won't really notice it, because you're going to be doing the same thing that a regular admin would be doing. You'll be duplicating databases, you'll be creating new accounts, you'll be adding apps, just regular boring stuff, just so you're just doing it maliciously. But they have no idea, which is fun. Oh, there's another one. This one's just called That Gambling Site. It's fueled by Chinese organized crime. That's irresistible. That tells you all you need to know. And there's another one about how to kind of use privilege escalation to get all the way to global administrator. Mr. Burns rubs his hands for that one.
Oh, awesome. So you'll be busy today.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on our time, and we have a lot of great executive interviews taking place here on Cyber Risk TV today. So stay tuned and keep track of that. And to do so, there are a couple of ways. One is go to securityweekly.com/BlackHat, and you'll see all of our coverage, all of the interviews going live as we do them. And you can also keep track of all of our coverage on SC Media. And hope you all enjoyed today. Take care. Very hot today. The ACs are having trouble keeping up.
They are.
And
be well.
Until next time, our coverage will continue in a bit.
Hi, folks. I'm Adrian Sanabria, the host of Enterprise Security Weekly. Every week, we interview the most interesting folks we can find, talking about the most pressing cybersecurity issues and challenges facing the enterprise today. Myself and my co-hosts have each been in the industry for decades, long enough to see the patterns